Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Justice Reddy. A lawyer can speak only when he stands. A judge can deliver judgment only when he is sitting on the dais. Now we are dealing with a very serious subject. Judicial accountability through live streaming of judicial proceedings. I am in favor of it and I am also against it. Now you would wonder, why am I contradicting myself? As a proposition in law, in its absolute terms, that this will ensure transparency is a debatable proposition. Assuming for a moment that this is one method of ensuring judicial accountability, are we mature enough to adopt this method? As a person who belongs to the liberal school of thought and believes in the values of freedom, I would say yes, this could be one of the methods. But having spent more than 40 years in courts in India, I have grave reservations. Why do I say that? In the first place, on the basic proposition itself, I have some reservations. Judicial accountability are delivered. I am saying so with sense of responsibility. The classic case is habeas corpus judgment. The proposition laid down by the court was that once there is a proclamation of emergency, all fundamental rights stand suspended and a police officer can shoot a person and he is not answerable. Of course, now the court has corrected itself. There are so many other judgments which, in my view, do not measure up to the standards expected of the courts. But a judicial process has an inherent capacity to correct itself. So my first reservation on that judicial accountability is that the conscience of the court itself must ensure accountability. What is the oath that the judges take? I shall administer law without fear and favor. It's in other words, the oath is to the conscience of the judge. Now let me for a moment assume that yes, let's have some live streaming. What are the pitfalls? And what is it that we are going to achieve? Gains as against the minus points, the plus points and the minus points. I personally see not much of a gain. Though its proposition looks attractive. I would first deal with the pitfalls involved. Number one, a judge at the early stage of the hearing expresses a proposition tentatively. He puts up to the counsel that, what is your answer to this? The judge gets satisfied with the answer. He may change his view. The people watching this may say, "Arey, why this judge has changed?" In other words, my first submission is that it will be a serious obstruction to an honest debate in the court. A judge is entitled in the course of the proceedings to change his view as many times as he wants. It's a dialectical method. It's not a monologue that an actor appears on the stage and delivers his dialogue and the judge merely listens. It is supposed to be a dialogue, a live interaction. It's a forum where there is live brainstorming. Now, to understand this process, we need maturity amongst the viewers. So this is one thing. It will be a serious obstacle to a frank, open discussion in the court. I don't think that we have achieved that kind of maturity where we can understand that what judge earlier said was his tentative or a doubt in his mind or a view which he had, but he changed it because there is a better view. These are all very complicated things. So that's my point number one. My second point is that judges sometimes discuss amongst themselves. Now, if that discussion also is going to be, it will curtail, it will be a serious obstruction to thinking amongst the judges, their own interaction, which is again not good. My third concern is that we as lawyers, and I'm sorry to say that, we have also not acquired maturity. You come and sit even in Supreme Court and you will find when a judge is against, how many times the lawyer repeats his argument. Just he would know it better. Sometimes I find it sickening. So we lack maturity. Compare this, consider the experience that we have gained of live streaming of the proceedings in the parliament. What do you see? Most of the people see those proceedings as a source of entertainment while having their dinner. Has it really enlightened the people? It has in fact brought about sharper divisions amongst the people. White, black, no shades of grey in between. Either Mr. So-and-so is right or Mr. So-and-so is wrong. Now this is the level of debate. Why does it happen? It happens because our representatives in the parliament are not mature enough. It has become a forum for abusing one another. hardly any policy matters are debated. I haven't come across any informed, intelligent debate on basic economic policies or educational policies or the kind of legal framework that we should have. Constitutional amendments are passed without debating as to what are the pros and cons of that amendment. Only if I am in opposition, I will oppose it. If I am in government, I will support it. There is no logic. With the result, that in my personal view, this live streaming of proceedings of the parliament has divided the society more sharply. Either X is right or Y is right. We are not learnt, we are not mature enough to understand that X may be right to some extent and Y can also be right to some extent, and both of them can be wrong to some extent. So I said that there is no maturity amongst the lawyers. We often play to the gallery. Sometimes sitting in the Supreme Court when some lawyers have acquired a natural capacity to be irrelevant, find it sickening. What kind of message that such live streaming will give to the people of India? That in the highest court or in the high courts or even in important tribunals, lawyers are talking trash. Even sometimes judges show sometimes on some occasions a lack of maturity. Some remarks are made which are not justified. So this is a very serious pitfall. Now can we have live streaming of matrimonial matters? Recently I appeared in one matter. I don't know whether you have heard of that. Those young girls were raped in Bihar in those shelter homes. The newspapers are carrying names of those girls despite a provision in the statute, despite the code of conduct for the television channels also for the newspapers that you are not supposed to publish the name. People do it. In matters of national importance, national defense, can we have a live streaming of the real issues involved in the Rafale case? There could be very sensitive matters like Sabrimala. The Sabrimala debate in the court has disturbed the social peace that was in Kerala. I am not for a moment saying that the ladies should not be allowed to enter. Leave it to the reformers. The Supreme Court judgment has disturbed the social peace, political peace of that state. Now this is not something which is the job of the activist is to first prepare a society. Now everybody wants all things to be done by the court's fiat. Now therefore, live streaming of a debate in a matter like Sabrimala or Ayodhya case or that Haji Ali Dargah case or triple talaq case is not certainly, we are going to divide the society and disturb the social peace and harmony. So first is matrimonial, then criminal matters, rape matters, matters of importance of national defense. I can give a long list. And what is the purpose? That people should know what is happening in the court. Now, how much do they understand law? In a country where such illiteracy of a great magnitude, is it going to serve any purpose? I'll tell you a very interesting anecdote. I had one young law student from France. She was doing her LLM in international law. And she had come to India to study the working of the Supreme Court. She was in my chamber for about 6 months. After the matters are over, she would go and sit in a one particular courtroom. And I noticed that. And I asked her, why do you do so? The answer that she gave me, I was really first amused, but it disturbed me a lot. She said, in this particular courtroom, there is a lot of entertainment. I say, why? No, this judge makes so many interesting remarks. Now, look at this. Some serious student of law coming from France goes and sits in one particular courtroom because it has an entertainment value. So when I said that today people watch the debates in Parliament more as an entertainment value, how so-and-so attacked so-and-so person and tore him to pieces, breaking news. This is all not a sign of healthy democracy. So my serious concern is, are we mature enough to have this kind of mechanism? Just as I said that the society was not prepared for Supreme Court judgment in Sabarimala's case. Take even triple talaq case. Of course, I am of the view that this triple talaq is obnoxious. But do we have the data? How many Muslim families there is a triple talaq? Why are we raising these issues? Create social reformers, they will do their job. See, when society is prepared for a change of a particular nature, the judiciary just puts its approval. With this scenario in the country, where the television channels are creating more social divisions, creating animosity different amongst the different groups. Do you think that live streaming of court proceedings would be anything better? Though I accept that the soul of democracy is transparency, the whole concept of rule of law is based on that. But the question is, how far do we take it? Some chief minister is holding a dharna on the streets of Delhi and is conducting government business there. Is this a kind of transparency? Can government conduct its business on streets? Or every cabinet meeting, live streaming, transparency? The judge is dictating the judgment, show it live, transparency. It can't be carried that far. See, there is no proposition in law which is absolute in its application. Every proposition of law has its own limits. Why the debate started? Because after Gupta's case, 1982, Supreme Court said, the right to know is a part of, right to proper information is a part, inherent aspect of Article 19(1)(a). Freedom of speech and expression. But how far do you take freedom of speech and expression? Do you have a right to abuse somebody else? Whether anybody is entitled to express his opinions on the defense matters and reveal the kind of weaponry that the Indian Army has, or the kind of missiles that we have and their potency, their effectiveness, their capacity to travel, can we? Can't. Just as there are serious limitations contemplated even by the Constitution itself on your right to freedom of speech and expression, there has to be a limit to transparency. And live streaming stage has not yet come. Anyone has read this judgment of the Supreme Court? Please raise your hand. Nobody has raised. Nobody has read the judgment. Then what are we discussing? If you see the text of the judgment, I am satisfied. The reason is the court is largely influenced American practice, European practice, and practice in several other countries. If you ever go to America and watch the proceedings in the Supreme Court, first, unlike our Supreme Court, American Supreme Court doesn't meet every day. Unlike our Supreme Court, they have no benches. The court sits only on some important issues. And time is given, half an hour, 45 minutes. At the end that, Mr. Counsel, please sit down now. There are no arguments like Maruti's tale in Sri Lanka. And nobody raises voice. The kind of solemnity, the kind of seriousness in which the proceedings take place, except the counsel's voice or occasionally judge's query, there is a pin drop silence in the court. You can have live streaming, no problem. But sometimes on Mondays and Fridays, when there are admission days, I almost get a feeling in the Supreme Court that this is some bazaar day. We are not yet, I'm sorry to say that, we have not yet become mature enough to adopt this method. And I still, therefore, when I said at the beginning that I'm all for it, but I am also against it, the contradiction I think I have been able to explain to some measure. Before I sit down, I want to quote one poem of Rabindranath Tagore. It's a passage from Gitanjali. And that passage Gitanjali reflects what we should aspire for. And then we can debate all these proceedings, these issues. Today it's a big luxury, debate on such issues. The poem reads like this: where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the words come out from the depth of the truth, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the clear stream of reason, mark these words, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Thank you very much.